Good morning students, how are you all? I hope so that all of you are doing great. Our today's topic is volume and surface area, and I will try to explain this topic with the help of past paper examples, past paper questions, and basically in my today's lesson I will focus on these three shapes. Shapes are cylinder, cone and sphere. So we will try to first understand the concept of what is volume and what is surface area, and these volume that remains same, but the formula for surface area they are depending on the conditions, like what condition we have, what type of question we have, and according to the specific condition we use the formula of surface area. So first of all, the concept of volume. So the concept of volume, I will give you, I have made a few shapes for you, like you can see that this is a cylinder, okay, and you can see that right now although I have made caps, but first consider it in this form, like it is open at both ends, okay. So we are talking about volume, and we will try to understand the concept of volume first. Volume is actually the space which is occupied by any object. Like this is cylinder, and the space which this will occupy will be its volume. Like I am holding it and it is occupying this space, okay. So according to its size, so this is its volume, okay. You know, if I put it on the table, if I put it on anywhere, it will it cannot occupy space more than its size. The place where I put it will not change its volume, because it is having its specific size, and that size can occupy the space according to it, and that will be called its volume. So the space occupied by any object is called its volume, and that the volume is basically depending upon the size of the object. The larger the size, the larger the volume, okay. So now you can see that this was open from both ends, okay. If I close it from one end, will the size change of this object? No, that will not change, okay. If I close it from both ends like this, okay, like this, if I have closed it from both ends, it will again not affect its size will remain same. So that size is basically what is its volume, okay. So try to learn this, that it is closed, it is open from one end, it is open from both ends, it has the same volume, it will have the same volume, okay. So the formula to find out the volume of a cylinder is pi r square h. Now why I have chosen these three shapes? Because these are all round, okay, in one way or the other. So pi will be definitely involved, radius r will be definitely involved. You can see that all these, I have written the formula of cylinder, formula of volume of cone, formula of volume of sphere, and they all are having two things, pi and r in one form or the other, okay, in one way or the other. So the volume of this cylinder is pi r square h, okay. Now similarly I have made this cone, okay, I made this cone, and I have kept it in this form, like open from top, okay, and it is not filled. One more thing which I am going to explain you, that it is not filled inside, it is hollow inside, okay. So this cone is having its volume same if it is solid, solid means it is filled inside or it is hollow like this. Okay, it is not filled inside. Like if I put some cone in this cone, then definitely it will be filled, but that will not affect its volume. Volume will not change. Okay, similarly, when I put this cap at top of this cone, now this is closed cone. Okay, closed one. Now again, does it affect the volume of cone? No, it is not affecting the volume of cone because its size doesn't change and it occupies the same space. Okay, so that's why its volume will remain same. It's open, it's empty, it's filled, it's unfilled, or in any condition this size of the cone will not change. Okay, and its volume will remain same. Okay, so the volume, the formula for the volume of cone is pi r square h, means this formula, the volume of the cylinder, we are just going to divide it by 3. It means that when we join 3 cones, we get cylinder because we have divided the volume of cylinder by 3. So it means 3 cones make 1 cylinder, or when 1 cylinder is cut in a form of cone, then we can get 3 cones out of 1 cylinder of same size. Okay, so getting my point, like 3 similar cones make 1 cylinder, and 1 cylinder when it is cut in cone, in the form of cone, then we can get 3 similar cones, and in this way we can explain it. Okay, so the volume of cone is the volume of cylinder divided by 3. Now let's talk about the sphere. Similar concept, same concept. The sphere, like this I have made. If you talk about a football or a basketball, that is hollow inside. Okay, so if it is filled, then the hollowed one or the filled one, both will have the same volume. Volume will not be changed. Okay, volume is just the space which it occupies. Okay, so it will just occupy, it can occupy the space according to its size. It can occupy that much space which is according to its size. So it doesn't depend upon that the sphere is hollowed or sphere is solid. It will have the same volume. Okay, so I think so that the concept of volume is clear. I revise it for you once again. The volume, it is the size of the, it depends on the size of the object. The larger the size, the larger the volume. The smaller the size, the smaller the volume. Okay, it doesn't depend on the thing is filled inside, the thing is not filled inside, doesn't depend upon the two other things, that the thing like in cylinder case or in cone case, they are having cover, they are having cap on, in cylinder case both ends, or in cone case one end, or if it is not having, or they both are not having any cap, then the volume will not change, volume will remain same. Now let's talk about the surface area. Surface area is bit technical. Let's talk about the surface area of the cylinder. What is surface area? The surface area is basically the area which its surface covers. Okay, the area which its surface cover, outermost surface covers, that is called the surface area of this cylinder or of any shape. Like if we talk about the cuboid, then the cuboid actually that is consisting of 6 rectangles, and the area which is covered by those 6 rectangles is the surface area of the cuboid. Okay, so now how to find out the surface area of this cylinder? So now this is bit technical, and you have to understand the concept. Now look, in this in this form, this cylinder is open from both sides, okay, both ends. So only this surface, this is called its curved surface, this is called its curved surface, and the area of this curved surface, only we are supposed to find out the area of this curved surface in this form if the cylinder is open from both ends, okay. So this is the first case about surface area. So let's talk about the surface area, and I will go a little bit in detail of this topic, surface area. Surface area, I will use C for curved surface area. Now the curved surface area means that it is open from both ends, okay, and we are just considering this area, the area of this surface, this curved surface, and I have also written it on this page, on this cover, on this surface. It is 2 pi r h. This is the formula to find out the curved surface area. It is 2 pi r h, okay. So 2 pi r h. Now I think so that you have understood that when we are supposed to use this surface area, when the cylinder is open from both ends, okay. Now suppose in case the cylinder is closed at one end, it is closed and the other end it is open, one end closed, other end is open. Now what I have actually added, one surface I have added, and the area of the, because this is a circular surface, this is a circular surface, and the area of circular surface is we get it by using pi r squared. It means I have added 1 pi r squared with this curved surface, okay. So if it is closed at one end, then the surface area is 2 pi r h plus pi r square. C closed at one end, okay. COE closed at one end. When the cylinder is closed at one end, you are supposed to use this formula because I have added this surface to its area, okay. Now suppose if I also close this end of the cylinder, now I have what I have added, actually I have added 1 pi r square more, because this is also a round circular surface. So I have added one more surface to it, and now it is closed from both sides, and when it is closed from both sides, both ends, then how do we find out its surface area? Then we find its surface area as 2 pi r h plus pi r square plus one more pi r square, because it is now closed at both ends, closed CBE, closed at both ends. Now this further reduces to this form, because you know these are two, so this further reduces to 2 pi r into r plus h, and with this formula, because it is written in your books, so with this formula you all are familiar. But now try to understand that you cannot use in all there are three different cases, so in all cases you cannot use this formula, only this formula, because you have to be very, you have to think very technically, like what is given and what is not given. For example, if the cylinder is open at both ends, you are supposed to use only the, you are supposed to find out only the curved surface area, and to find out the curved surface area, the formula is 2 pi r h. If it is closed at one end, then 2 pi r h, because this 2 pi r h is actually making a cylinder, okay. This curved surface area, it is open at both ends, it is closed at both ends, it is closed at one end, it is closed at the other end, the only this surface, this curved surface is making it a cylinder. Okay, so this this closed means if it is closed or it is open, it doesn't affect, because this shape, this curved surface is actually making it a cylinder. Okay, so this will be definitely present in all cases, 2 pi r h in all cases, and pi r square when it is closed at one end, and the 2 pi r h plus pi r square if it is closed at both ends. And if it is closed at both ends, then it further reduces to this form, 2 pi r plus h. So I hope so that I have made you clear about this concept. Now let's talk about the cone. Now we are going to talk about the surface area of cone. Surface area of cone. Look, just ignore this cap in the beginning and look at it. This cone is open, okay, and we are supposed to find out its surface area. Because it is open, so we will just consider the area of this surface. Okay, so this is called curved surface, and the area of this curved surface is equal to pi r l. Area of this curved surface is equal to pi r l. What is this r? R is radius. What is this l? That is slant height. Look, this one is from center to the apex, to the bottom. Okay, if we draw a straight vertical line, okay, that is called height, which is denoted by h. Okay, but if we talk about this length, this is called slant height of the cone, which is denoted by L. So the curved surface area, this is curved surface area, CSA, curved surface area, is equal to pi r L, and we will use this formula when the cone is open. But when it is closed, so a circular surface I am adding in it, okay, and when it is closed, what I have actually added in it, pi r square. Okay, so when it is closed, this is curved surface area, and surface area will be equal to pi r L plus pi r square when closed. So it means that when the cone is open, then only curved surface area you will use, because this curved surface area is actually making this shape a cone. Okay, so to find out the area of that curved surface is we use pi r L. When it is closed, when it is having cap at its top, okay, it is closed, okay, then we are supposed to use pi r square, because we are adding a circular surface to one end of the cone, to its top. That's why we will add that. So plus pi r square. So it is when closed, and this we use when it is open. So I think so that I have made you clear about this thing. And now let's talk about the surface area of this sphere. Surface area of this sphere. Surface area of sphere, that is equal to pi r squared, that is the area of circle. Just you have to multiply it by 4. And it becomes the surface area of the sphere. Pi r square is the area of circle. Just you have to multiply it by 4. It will be converted into the surface area of the sphere. Now here we also talk about like when it is hemisphere. But before that, now look one more thing. Like if we talk about the height of the sphere, you know, from center to the circumference or to the surface of the sphere, from center to this end, the distance is called radius. You all are familiar with it. Now you can see that radius, you know, it is same at all sides. It is same at all sides. Like I have made it here. If I make it here, or if I take it like this, it will be same at all sides. Its length doesn't change. Okay. So in the same way, if we talk about the height of the sphere, then that is double of the radius, means this radius plus this radius. It means that the height of the sphere is actually equal to the diameter of the sphere. Okay, so height of the sphere is equal to the diameter of the sphere. So one more thing, let's talk about the hemisphere. Like if I talk about the hemisphere, if I just erase this, then what does it become? Now it looks like hemisphere. What I have done, I have just halved, I have just divided into two halves. Okay, so one half is called hemisphere. Okay, hemisphere. And what I have done, actually I have divided this surface area by 2. So surface area of hemisphere, HS, hemisphere is 2 pi r squared. Surface area of hemisphere is 2 pi, because I have just simply divided it into two halves. So when I will divide 4 pi r squared by 2, I will get 2 pi r square. Simple. Okay. So similarly, when I talk about the volume of hemisphere, that the volume of sphere was 4 pi r cube over 3. When I will divide it by 2, because hemisphere, we are talking about the hemisphere, it's half of the sphere, so I have to just divide it by 2. When I will divide it by 2, this volume, when I divide it by 2, then this 4 will be cancelled with this 2, because you know, it will be written like this. Divide, when I change it into multiply, it will become 1 over 2, and 2 cancels this 4, and it will become 2 pi r cubed over 3. So the volume of hemisphere is 2 pi r cubed over 3. So these concepts we are going to use in the questions which I have taken from past papers, and I am now going to explain. Let's talk about a past paper question. This question which I am going to explain you, this came in P2. It came in 2017 in October, November, and the plus point was that these formulae were given. Okay, so volume of cone and curved surface area of cone, these two formulae were given, and all, as well as the volume of hemisphere and the surface area of the hemisphere. Actually it was given about sphere, but I have converted it into hemisphere. So these were already given in the question. Now the question, what is the question? Question was that a solid was given. This solid was made or this solid was in this form. It was given in this form. What is this form? Like it is a combination of a hemisphere, okay, and a cone. Okay, these both are joined together, and they are making this solid. Now the first part, okay, the few more things. The total height of this solid is 18 centimeter, and the height of this hemisphere is 6 centimeter. Okay, this slant height is given as x, which we are supposed to find in the first part. Okay, now actually we are supposed to find out the slant height, so we will only consider the cone in this case. cone in this case, this x we are supposed to find out. Okay, now you can see that here the radius was not given, but when I was explaining you about the sphere or the hemisphere, I told you that this height, basically the height of the sphere is 2 times the radius. It means that this 6 becomes the radius, this 6 becomes the radius. Okay, and because these both are sharing or joined in a way that they are having the same radius, that's why the radius of the cone is also 6. The radius of the cone is also 6. Now what you are supposed to do, always when you are supposed to find out the slant height, you are going to draw a vertical line which is called the height of the cone, and you know, height is always at 90 degree with the base. So we have, now if we just erase this line, you can see that we are now having a right angle triangle. But what is the length of this side? You can see that it was 18. If we minus the height of this hemisphere from 18, we get the height of the cone. So it means that 18 minus 6 is 12. So 12 is the height of the cone. Now you can see that it is a right angle triangle. All 3 sides are given, one is unknown, and we can use Pythagoras theorem to find out the value of this x. So this becomes the hypotenuse, and x squared is equal to 6 squared plus 12 squared, and 6 6 are 36, 12 12s are 144, and this is x squared, and this will be 4 and 6 10, 4 and 3 7, and 1 8, 180 x square. And now we take square root on both sides, use calculator to find out the square root of, and square root of 180 is 13.4, and the value of x is 13.4 centimeter. Okay, so 13.4 centimeters is the value of x. Now let's find the total surface area of this solid. So definitely when you will be finding the total surface area of this, like the surface which covers this solid, so you are going to consider just the curved surface area of the cone and curved surface area of this hemisphere. It means you are going to use total surface area. This is part number B. So total surface area is equal to, curved surface area of the cone is pi r L, and in this case this x actually represents the slant height, so we can use pi r x, plus the curved surface area of this hemisphere is this 2 pi r squared. Now just simply substitute all the values. 3.142, r is 6, and x is just we found it in the first part, that was 13.4 plus 2 times by 3.142 times by 6 and square upon it. Now just simplify it on your calculators. So when you will simplify it, you are going to get 3.142 times by 6 times by 13.4 is equal to 252.62, and plus 2 times by 3.142 times by 6 squared, 226.22, and when you add these both values, you get the answer equal to 478.84, and this is surface area, so centimeter squared. So this is part number B. Now the part number C is total volume. Part number C is total volume. So total volume will be equal to, this is cone and hemisphere, so the volume of cone is pi r squared h over 3, and plus the volume of hemisphere is 2 pi r cube over 3. So now just take LCM, that is 3. Just substitute all the values and find the answer. 3.142 and all this 3.142 times by 6 square, and height of the cone, you know, that is 12, plus 2 times by 3.142 and times by 6 cubed. Now simplify all these values. 3.142 times by 6 squared and times by 12, this is equal to 1357.34 and plus 2 times by 3.142 times by 6 cubed, that is equal to 1357.34 divided by 3. So now just multiply it by 2, 2714, and divide it by 3. So it is 904.896, or you can round it off to the whole number, nearest whole number, that is 905. So this was volume, so centimeter cubed. So this was the total volume of this part number. In part number C, they have asked the total volume of this solid. In part number D, they have asked two further parts in part number D. Okay, in part number D, they told, because I have not written the full question, but I know what this question is about. So they told that there are 3 similar solids. One is A, the other 2 are B and C. So you can see that the ratio which is given for these solids is A, B and C. They are given in a ratio 2:6:1, and these are the ratios of their heights. Okay, or these are the ratios in their heights. You can see that if we compare A and B, these two solids, we can see that similar shapes, you know the concept of similar shapes. Similar shapes are exactly same in shape but not in size. Okay, so like you look at anything, and like for example, if we talk about the triangles, if this triangle and this triangle, you can see that they both are same in shape but not in size. This one, this shape, I have enlarged it. Okay, or in other words, you can see that you can say that I have just zoomed in. Okay, and when I will zoom this out, I will get this. So this is the concept of similar shapes. So these are 3 solids are similar. Now they have given us the like how they are similar. They have given us the ratio of their heights to us, and now what we are supposed to do, we are supposed to find out the area, surface area of the solid B, surface area of the solid B. The formula is ratio, the formula is area of because we are supposed to find out the surface area of B, so we will keep it as numerator. So surface area of B over, because we know the surface area of solid A, so that's why we are comparing as a solid B and solid A. So surface area of solid A divided by, okay, this is the ratio, is equal to the ratio of their lengths, that is 6 over the length of or the height of solid A is 2. So, and because this is area, so we use here square. Okay, so this is given in D3, and when you study this chapter, then you will come to know that if the ratio of how the two similar, if the shapes are similar, then the ratio of their area is equal to the ratio of their lengths, and square upon the ratio, or square upon the fractions. Now just substitute their values. This we are supposed to find out. Let's keep it as B, surface area, and the surface area of A we have already found in part number B, and that was surface area of that was 478.8. I wrote it because I knew that I have to use it in this, and this will cancel this, and I will get here 3 squared, and 9 times by 478.8 is equal to, when you multiply this, 9 times by 478.8 is equal to 434,309.2, and this was actually surface area of B, so it will be in centimeter squared. Okay, now you can see that the surface area of A was 478.8, surface area of B was 4,000, it is 400, it is 4,000, and the ratio of their heights also tell that B is larger than solid A in size, because its height was 6, and the height of A was 2, height was B was 6, so it means it is bigger in size than A. In the same way, if it is bigger, then you can see its area is also bigger than the area of solid A, because a bigger shape will have bigger area. Okay, so this was about part number 1. Now we are supposed to find out the volume of solid C. Again we will use the same ratio, but now we are talking about the volume, so that's why we will write down volume of solid C over, because we know the volume of solid A, so that's why we will use the volume of solid A is equal to 1 over 2, because we have used C as numerator, volume of C, so height of C will also become numerator in this fraction, so 1 over 2. And now we are considering we are talking about the volume, so this time we will take cube. So now this formula is very easy. You can easily understand that if it is area, you use square, if it is volume, you are using cube. Okay, so you can easily memorize this. Now the volume of A you have found in part number C, so that value you are going to substitute here. So volume of C over volume of A. So the volume of A was 905 equals to, this is 1 cubed means 1 and 2 cubed means 8. So 905, 1 over 8 multiplied by 905, and when 905 is divided by 8, 905 divided by 8, so we get 113.125. So the volume of C is 113 cubic centimeter, 113.125 centimeter cubed. Now you can also compare height wise. Solid C was smaller than solid A. So understood, in the beginning of this lesson I told you that the larger shape has the larger volume, smaller shape has the smaller volume. So if we compare the volumes of A and C, you can see that the volume of C is 113 and volume of A was 905. So A's volume is greater than C's. So this students, was about this is question which I have taken from P2, and it came in 2018 October-November session, and variant is 21, the same variant. Now this question is that we are given a solid, its name is A, okay, and height of the solid is given, the full height, total height of the solid from its top till its bottom, that is 24, and the radius is 3 centimeter, and this solid is actually composed of cylinder and hemisphere, and you can see that the bases or the diameter of hemisphere and this cylinder is same, so that's why they are having the same radius. Now what we are supposed to do, we in first part we are just going to show that its volume is 650 cubic centimeter, correct to 3 significant figures. So this we are going to show. So you know that this is very simple part, easily you can do. You are supposed to find out its total volume. So total volume is equal to volume of cylinder plus volume of hemisphere. Volume of cylinder you know is pi r squared h, and volume of hemisphere is 2 pi r cube over 3. Now just simplify by substituting all the values. Value of pi is 22 over 7 or 3.142. R is 3, so 3 square. H is now look here, you have to put the value of h of cylinder, height of cylinder, not the total height. So you know that the radius is 3 centimeter and this is hemisphere. Hemisphere's radius is also 3 centimeter, and the property of hemisphere is its radius is 3 centimeter. So its height would also be equal to 3 centimeter because the height of the hemisphere is equal to its radius. That I have told you in the beginning, that the height of the whole sphere is equal to its diameter. So height of the hemisphere is half of the sphere and half of the diameter is radius. So that's why the height of the hemisphere is equal to its radius. So that's why you have to minus this height from 24, and when you will minus 3 from 24 you will get 21. So here you are supposed to substitute 21 plus 2 into 3.142 and times by r is again 3 because hemispheres are radius and cylinder radius, they both are same, so divided by 3. So when you will simplify this and when you will calculate all the values, you will definitely get the answer equal to 650. So I have actually done it, so I am sure that it will give you answer 650 cubic centimeter. Okay, now the next part is we are supposed to find out its total surface area. In second part we are supposed to find out its total surface area. So the total surface area is basically equal to the curved surface area of cylinder plus curved surface area of hemisphere. So I told you that what is the curved surface area of cylinders? Curved surface area of cylinder is 2 pi r h. And what is the surface area, curved surface area of hemisphere? That is 2 pi r squared. So 2 pi r h is the curved surface area of cylinder, and curved surface area of hemisphere is equal to 2 pi r squared. Again, substitute all values and you will get the answer, and the answer will be 452 centimeter, because it's area, so 452 centimeter squared, or you can also get 452.3 or 452.4. all these answers are acceptable. So 452 centimeter squared or 452.3 centimeter squared, 452.4 centimeter squared, these all answers are acceptable. Now I don't think so that you have any problem in substituting the values. Only the height, height of the cylinder you have to put very carefully, because it is not 24, this is total height of the solid, but we are now here going to put the value height of cylinder. So height of cylinder is 24 minus the height of this hemisphere, and then we get this height, and this is equal to 21. I hope so that there is no problem in getting that. Okay, now its third part is further having two parts. The first part of the third part, A part, is same as we have done in previous question. Third part, and it's A. We are going to again use the concept of similar solids, and this time we are having similar solid B, and whose volume is 450 cubic centimeter, and height we are supposed to find out. You can see that we have just found the volume of this A. Volume of A was 650 cubic centimeter. Volume, this in this part another solid is given, and whose volume of B is 450 cubic centimeter. So you can see that these are similar, but B is smaller in size. B is small in size, that is smaller than A. So because its volume is less than A. Now if you have studied the chapter of volume and surface area of the similar shapes, then you know that the formula is for volume, the formula is volume of any means there are two given solids, so volume of 1 over volume of 2 is equal to height of 1 over height of 2. So here we are having the solids A and B, so we will, because we have to find out the height of B, that's why we will put B as numerator, we will keep B as numerator. So volume of B is equal to height of B. Okay, we can write down H for height of B, and volume of A is equal to height of A, and height of A is already given, that is 24. So 24, because this is about volume, so we will take cube on this fraction, Just simplify by substituting their values. Volume of B, you know, that is already given, that is 450. Volume of A is given, that is 650, and H cube over 24 cubed, because you know if there is a power on a fraction, like if there is a square on fraction, it comes on both, A squared over B squared. So that's why this cube will come on both, on numerator and on denominator. Now just shift this 24 cubed to this side, it will become h cubed equals to 450 over 650 over 650 times by 24 cubed, because you know it is dividing h cubed, so when it will go to other side, it will multiply with that. So now when you will simplify it, and also you are supposed to take cube root. Okay, I will suggest that first simplify it. When you will simplify it, $450 and 650 times by 24, that is equal to 9570. 9570.5 you can take, it is h cubed, and now take cube root on both sides. This cube and this cube, cube root and cube will cancel each other, and we are left with h. And now just take the cube root of 9570.5. so the answer is 21.23 centimeter. So now you can also see that its volume was less than, like volume of A was 650, volume of B was 450, volume of B was less than 650. You can see that the height of B, this is height of B, B's height, so this is 21.23, and the height of A was 24. So you can see that the height of B is smaller than height of A. So this is also very important. If you are getting here the height of B greater than height of A, so how is it possible? Because it is smaller in size, so how its height it can be greater than solid A? So that is it means that you have done any mistake. Now let's move towards the last part of this question. B part. But before we do this part, we have to we should understand one thing. Try to understand one thing, that here we are having I first explain you this question, what this question is about. We are having another similar solid, that is C, and the C which is similar to A, and these similar solids are 8 in number, these are 8 similar solids. One solid's mass, one C's mass or one solid mass is equal to 340 grams. This is given in grams, and which is correct to the nearest 10 grams, This 340 gram is correct to the nearest 10 grams. When the word nearest is come, correct to the nearest come, you know that you have to find out the upper bound and the lower bound. So you will definitely find it. Okay. So let's do it first. Mass of, this is third part, mass of solid C is equal to, mass of one solid C is equal to 340 grams. Now it's which is correct to the nearest 10 grams, You know, when we find out the upper and the lower bound of any number, we always the number which is given after nearest, the number which is given, this is nearest, and this number is given after nearest. This number we always divide it by 2. So when you will divide it by 2, you will get it equal to 5. Now this 5 you have to add in this value to get its upper bound, and when you will minus it from this number, you will get its lower bound. So lower bound is equal to, lower bound will be of this is equal to, where we will minus it we minus 5 from 340, so it will be 335 grams. Now upper bound is equal to 345 gram. So this we are talking about one solid mass C. These are total 8 in number. Now there is a container. Container's mass with 8 solid means they are going to we are going to pack all these 8 solids in a container, and with all these 8 solids, the mass of container is 4.2 kilogram. Mass of container with 8 solids is equal to 4.2 kilogram, which is correct to the nearest 0.1 kilogram. So it is 0.1 kg. So we will divide it by 2, and when we divide it by 2, we get it equal to 0.05. So to get the upper bound of this container with 8 solids, first we find lower bound. We will minus this from 4.25. So when you will minus it, you will get 4.15 kilogram, and its upper bound will be 4.25 kg. So this is all about the mass of container with 8 solids. Now what we are supposed to do, we are supposed to find out the upper bound of mass of container only, or the upper bound of the mass of the container without 8 solids. When we will minus this mass, means when we will multiply it by 8 to get the mass of 8 solids, and we will subtract it from this, then we will get the upper bound, first of all mass of this container without the 8 solids, and then we will find out the upper bound of the container only, upper bound value of the mass of the container only. So how do we do it? Always remember, you have to remember one thing. We have to find out the upper bound. So upper bound will be equal to upper bound value of the container with 8 solids, that is 4.25 minus the lower bound value of the solid. This is the formula which you will study, or which I hope so that you have already studied in inequalities chapter, where you also study about the lower bound limits and the upper bound limits. And this is the formula, like you are finding upper bound. So upper bound value of the container with 8 solids, and minus lower bound value, that is 335, and because this is in kilogram and this is in grams, so when you will divide 335 by 1000, you will get it equal to 0.335, because we can subtract from kilograms, not kilograms, and we cannot subtract grams from kilograms, so we have to convert it into kilograms. So this we are converting. So 335 when divided by 1000, it will become 0.35, and these are total 8. So these are total 8 in number. So when you will simplify it, 4.25 minus 8 times by 335, this will give you the answer 8 into 0.335, this will give you the answer 1.57, which is the upper bound, of the container's mass without the 8 solids, So if we are asked that find the lower bound, for example in question, if we are asked that find the lower bound value of the mass of the container, so what we will do? Lower bound of the container, mass with 8 solids, and minus the upper bound of the mass of 8 solids. So try to understand that. Here we are supposed to find out the upper bound. So upper bound minus lower bound. Lower bound is equal to lower bound minus upper bound. Upper bound is equal to upper bound minus lower bound, and lower bound is equal to lower bound minus upper bound. So this is the answer of the question. So 1.57 is the answer of the question. So students, I hope so that you have enjoyed and learned a lot through these examples, through all this discussion. So I hope so that you will be getting some benefits from this video. And if anything, if you have not understood anything, or you have not understood any concept, you can write in comments. I will definitely answer you. I will help you in everything, like if about these questions, if you have not got anything, so I will be definitely there for you. And thank you so much. Please like and subscribe my channel if you think that it is good for other people. So please also share it with all your fellows and members. So thank you so much. Okay.